We're still here.
Many people might think that they want to buy their first horse, but there are some responsibilities and expenses that you should be aware of. The first one is choosing your first horse. You want to choose it according to your level of experience. Beginner, which is like trail riding and 4-H. Intermediate, which is like clinics, 4-H events, jackpots, etc. And advanced, where you get into regional or mid-states competitions. When you're choosing your horse, you want to consider English or Western style of riding. English is more formal, where you ride with a helmet, suit jacket, and high boots, and you compete in events like dressage, jumping, and English pleasure. Western is more along the lines of roping, pasture riding, Western pleasure, and rodeos. When buying your first horse, you'd like to get an experienced horse preferably. They can range anywhere from $1,000 to $7,000 for a pretty good experienced horse. Next is the care. You gotta consider feed, vet expenses, farrier, transportation, and grain costs. Grass hay is about $2.50 a bale, and they'll eat about half a bale a day, which comes out to about $220 just on hay expense alone. They will eat about 5 to 8 pounds of grain per day, and bags of grain are $7 to $25 for a 50-pound bag, and they'll go through about 4 bags a month. You have farrier expenses, which is about $40 to trim, $75 for shoes, depending on the and $75 for shoes, depending on the location of where you're at. Vet expenses and vaccinations run about $250 a year, and can get quite extensive if the horse is injured or sick. Board for your horse must be considered. You must either have it in a pasture, paddock, or a stall. Paddocks can range from $400 up per month for rent. Stalls are about $200 to $600 a month. If you have a pasture, that is adequate because your horse needs as much exercise as they can get. Moving into tack and transportation. Tack is what you use to ride the horse, like your saddles, halters, bridles, spurs, bits, all that. And the purchase price, starting from the ground up, if you have none of it, is a range from about $2,000 to $4,000, depending on the quality of which you want to go to. Then you have your transportation costs. You'll need an SUV or a pickup with at least a bumper hitch trailer, preferably a 2-horse, if you're considering going to events. And that can range from about $2,000 to $10,000 for the trailer alone, and then a vehicle of your choosing. Lastly, you can compete in events, rodeos, and clinics with your horse. Events you can do are like roping, cutting, dressage, 4-H, various clinics, and different types of rodeo events. Them fees can go from $50 to all the way to $350 just for local events. Total cost, depending on level and ability of your horse and the rider, is about $4,000 to $10,000 a year to own a horse, not counting the cost of the horse and transportation. All things considered, owning a horse takes time and comes at an expense. The cost of horse ownership is well worth the reward, but the care is important to keep your horse happy. With these things in mind, if you want to buy a horse, be prepared and have fun purchasing your first horse. That's it.
Very good.
You gotta show the audience again, dude. You gotta show the audience again. Just to make sure we show you.
How do you shut it off?
Double click.